What is the latest in terms of that coronavirus outbreak?
Well, the number of infections has now climbed past 14,000 with more than 300 deaths, and anxiety is really escalating since we are getting more evidence that people may be able to transmit this disease without any obvious signs of infection. You also had the first known death outside of China. It was a 44-year-old man from Wuhan who died in the Philippines on Saturday. In China, you also had the first area outside of Hubei imposing a quarantine measure. Wenzhou is this eastern port of about 9 million people. It's some 700 kilometers away from the center of the epidemic's origin, but they do have about 600 confirmed cases of death. So this is the highest number outside of Hubei. Now, authorities in that city are telling residents that families can only send one person out of the house every 2 days to shop for necessities, and that people should only leave for serious medical issues. And you also, over the weekend, had more airlines in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East stopping service to the mainland, and also more countries are blocking travelers from China. Most recently, you had measures from the Philippines and New Zealand, and also the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is now directing U.S. flights carrying citizens from China to one of 7 international airports where they're screening for potential coronavirus cases.
So, Selina, of course, equity markets return for the first time since the Lunar New Year break. What are we expecting to see there? It's not going to be pretty, is it?
Well, Paul, you're right. Every market now has had a chance to react to the spreading coronavirus, except for China. And the authorities there really want to make sure that they calm any nerves and that they try to contain the size of the sell-off. The PBOC and other regulators over the weekend have rolled out a slew of targeted measures to try and calm the markets. So the central bank will be providing more than $21 billion of liquidity to ensure that there is ample liquidity in the markets. On Saturday, the PBOC also said they'd be increasing lending to the whole economy, giving institutions some 300 billion yuan to re-lend. This also follows the announcement from last week that China's biggest banks will be lowering interest rates for firms in Hubei, the center of the outbreak. But really, these measures have been quite targeted to address the immediate market and economic concerns, but economists are expecting this to have a more protracted impact given sectors like the travel and hospitality industry that have immediately felt the brunt of this impact because of those travel restrictions and people not going out and spending because of fears of the spreading coronavirus. You also have the fact that industrial production will be impacted by the extension of the Lunar New Year holiday. And you also have regulators saying that they don't want investors to react irrationally and calling investors to really look rationally and objectively at the concerns here.